Hello students, this is Amardeep Singh, your computer teacher, and today we are going to continue with the same chapter, Cascading Style Sheets. In this session we'll discuss about CSS border properties, border width, border style, border color, and border property as a shorthand. And next we'll discuss about width and height properties of CSS. So first we'll discuss about border properties. Border properties are used to set border style, border width, border color of an HTML element. Following are various border properties available in CSS. Those are border width, border style, border color, and border property only. We can use border property as a shorthand property to set all the values, to assign all the values like width, style, color in a single line. Next we'll discuss about border width property. It decides the width of all four borders of an element. So that means with the help of border width property you can set the border size. You can say it is the border size of any element where you set the border. We can set border width by assigning a value like this, and the possible values are thin, thick, medium, and you can also assign a numeric value in pixels. Here we are having an example how we can use border width property. We have to set border width colon the value that you want to set. We can specify border for any element, not only for a table. You can assign border to a table, image, a paragraph, a heading tag, any tag where you want to set the border. You can apply that border to that particular element. But one thing that you have to keep in mind that to show border you have to set border style property first. So that means by default the border is hidden, and you have to show the border by using border style property first before using this border width property. Otherwise this property will not will not having any effect on that particular element. So let's start with an example. Here we are having a web page. We have placed an image on the top. Then we are having a main heading, subheading, and these are the paragraphs. And we'll use border properties on these elements. So first we'll open the code. Let's suppose I want to display border around image tag. So we have to set the width of border. IMG. For IMG tag I'm going to define CSS properties, border width colon 20px. Then same for main heading h1. I want to set h1 border hyphen width colon 10px. Save the code and refresh. Now you can see border is not border width is property is not having any impact on these elements, because by default border is not uh, border is hidden. So this property will not having any impact, or you can say it will not show any border width or borders around the specified element. So before using this property you have to set border style also. So next we'll discuss about the border style property. This property sets the style of border. By default style is none. That means by default not any border will be visible around any of element. So we can set this property like border style colon value, and these are the possible values. All these are the possible values like none, dotted if you want to display a border as a dotted line, dashed by using dashed line, then solid, double line if you want to display, and these are all the possible values that you can use around uh, to set a border. And here is an example to set the border width we have specified already, but if you want to make this property effective, then you have to set borders hyphen style colon solid, or any value you can assign except none. So let's start how we can set. You have to set border hyphen style colon solid, save it. Now you can see a 20% width, a border with 20% width, 20 pixels width is visible here, and that is solid now. But next we'll assign border style property to h1 tag also. Border style colon, I'll assign dotted to h1. Now you can see this one is the dotted property, and this property has been assigned to the h1 tag. So that is all about border style property and border width property. Next we'll discuss about border color property. This property, as the name suggests, is used to set color of the border. Default color is black. So that means if you will not set this property, then the by default color will be black. So you can set border color property like this: border color colon the value that you want to assign. The possible values are that you can assign, that is the name of color, or you can also assign a color value that is in the form of hexadecimal or RGB value. So here we are using border color colon the name of color, or you can also set the value. So let's start how we can use this one. Let's suppose I want to set the border color of image. Border color colon, I want to set it to red. There's any column. Now you can see the border color has been changed. You can also change the border color of h1 tag also. I'll assign border color colon blue. Now the color has been changed. You can also set the border properties in paragraph tag also. P, let's suppose I'll copy these properties and change the values. And then here we are having, I'll assign 5 pixel, then dashed red. So if you want to check the dashed property, then now this one is. So that is all about how we can use border color property. Next we'll discuss how to use border property as a shorthand. This property set all the border properties in one line declaration. That means if you want to set all the values, if you want to assign all the border values, property values to using a single line, then you can use a border property with the name border only. So if you want to use this one, then you have to assign, first you have to assign width, then style of property, then color of property. Here we are having border 20px, then solid and red, by separating by the spaces. So if you want to set property for a p tag, then I'll assign, first I have to assign 10 border colon 10px space solid, I'll assign double, then green, save it. This one is the value of style, this one is the value of color, and this one is width, or you can say size. Now you can see the border has been assigned to the P tag with a double border line. So that is all about how we can use shorthand border property. After discussing about border property, next we'll discuss about height and width property. These are the generic properties that we can use with any element to decide the height and width of a specified element. So if you want to change the height or width of any element, then you have to assign like height colon value in pixels, width colon value in pixel. Then you can change the height of an image, a paragraph, heading, a table, or any element. So let's start how we can use this property. Let's suppose I want to change the width of h1 tag. Then I'll use width column. I'll assign 300 px. Then now you can see the h1 tag is occupying the complete area of browser, and now we have assigned 300 px. Then refresh the page. Now you can see that it will occupy only 300 pixel area. Then you can also change according to the requirement. For example, if you want to change it to 400 px, then the contents of that tag will be adjusted according to the specified width, or you can also change the height also. Height colon 200 px, semicolon should be there. Then this one. So that is all about how we can use width and height property. You can also use this property with image also. So that is all about the present session, and we have discussed about border properties and width and height properties. If you people are having any kind of doubt related to these properties,